In the heart of an old town, where narrow streets twisted like vines and the cobblestone paths shimmered after rain, lived a cat named Whiskers. He was an ordinary ginger cat with clever green eyes, but every night he set out on extraordinary adventures. When the sun dipped behind the rooftops and darkness fell, the city's lanterns lit up one by one, tall and elegant, short near benches, some old and ornate, others new and shiny. Each lantern glowed in its own way, warm golden light, cool bluish white, or a flickering gleam like it had its own story to tell. Whiskers loved hopping from one glowing pool of light to another, as if playing a secret game. But tonight felt different. The lanterns shone brighter, and there was something mysterious hidden in their glow. He looked up and spotted a lantern on the roof of the old library. Its light wasn't golden, but a soft, strange blue. Whiskers froze. His instincts told him this was no ordinary light. It was the start of a new adventure. Whiskers crept down a narrow alley, dodging puddles that mirrored the lanterns above. His paws made no sound except for the occasional scratch of claws on the stone. He stopped in front of the library, an old building with tall windows and carved wooden doors. During the day, it looked normal, but at night, it turned magical. The blue glow from the lantern cast ghostly patterns on the stone walls. Whiskers looked up. The lantern shone steadily, but deep inside its glass, a tiny spark flickered and danced, as if sending a signal. Sitting on his back legs, Whiskers squinted. Then, a sound, like pages rustling, came from inside the locked library, even though the windows were shut tight. Interesting, he thought, twitching his ears. He leapt onto a windowsill and pressed his nose to the glass. Between the rows of books, a small glowing light was moving, just like the one inside the lantern. Whiskers knew, right then, this night would be special. Whiskers leapt down from the windowsill and circled the library doors. They were big and wooden, with a heavy lock, but every door has a crack. He found a small gap near the bottom and squeezed through. Inside was quiet. Outside, rain tapped gently on the roof, and the wind whispered in the trees. Rows of books stood like guards watching over the silence. At the back of the room, something glowed. Whiskers stepped carefully between the shelves, sniffing the air. It smelled like dust, old paper, and smoke. In the center of the room, on a table, lay a huge book. It was open, and soft light flowed from its pages, just like the lantern's flicker. Whiskers froze. The words on the page seemed to move, twisting into new shapes. Then a whisper echoed around him. "The time has come. Keep looking." He spun around. No one was there. A cold breeze brushed his fur, making it stand on end. He realized this library held a secret, and the glowing book was the key. Whiskers gently touched the book with his paw, and suddenly the light burst brighter, filling the room with golden glow. The letters lifted from the pages, swirling in the air like fireflies. Whiskers flinched, but didn't run. It didn't feel dangerous, more like something had been waiting for him. The pages turned on their own, revealing drawings of an ancient city that looked like his own, but much older. The streets were the same, but the buildings were older, and instead of lanterns, tall torches burned at every corner. "The City of Light," whispered a voice in his mind. Whiskers saw a figure holding a lantern, his face hidden in shadow, but something about him felt powerful. Below it read, "The Keeper of Light." Whiskers' heart trembled. That lantern he saw wasn't just a lantern, it was a sign. Suddenly, from the dark corner of the library, a noise. A shelf had moved. Whiskers arched his back and prepared to jump. Someone was watching him. A small shadow emerged from the darkness. Whiskers tensed, paws ready, tail twitching. But instead of danger, a tiny owl stepped forward. Fluffy and wide-eyed, it looked more curious than scary. "Are you looking for him too?" it squeaked. Whiskers tilted his head. "Looking for who?" His green eyes glinted in the magical light. "The keeper," the owl said. "My grandfather told me he left a secret in this city." A secret that can protect it from the dark. Whiskers narrowed his eyes. Something told him this little owl was meant to be here too. The owl peered at the glowing book. "Careful," warned Whiskers. "It only shows the way to those who are ready." The owl nodded, and together they stared at the page. Now the picture had changed. It showed a narrow bridge and, across the river, a tall tower with a lantern at the top. "That's where we need to go," the owl whispered, its feathers shaking. But just then the air quivered. A deep scraping noise echoed nearby. Something big was coming. The darkness came alive. From behind the shelves rose a huge shadow, its shape unclear, like smoke, with glowing green eyes. The owl squeaked and hid behind Whiskers, but the cat stood tall. His fur bristled, but he didn't run. "Who are you?" Whiskers asked firmly. The shadow hissed. "I am what remains when the lights go out. I take what people forget to protect." A smoky tendril reached for the book, but as soon as it touched the page, a bright flash shot out. The shadow jerked back, snarling. "It's afraid of the light," cried the owl. Whiskers felt his heart pound. He remembered the book's words. The keeper of light. Maybe he was meant to protect the city now. He looked straight into the creature's glowing eyes. "This city belongs to the light. We won't let you take it," he said boldly. The owl puffed up. "We're going to the lantern tower." The shadow hissed again, but slowly faded back into the darkness. The book opened again, revealing a glowing map. "That's our path," whispered Whiskers. "We must go." Whiskers and the little owl made their way through the night, sticking close together. The lanterns on the streets glowed warmer than ever, as if cheering them on. In every window they passed, someone watched. A child, a grandpa, even a cat on a windowsill, all silently hoping the light would grow stronger. When they reached the bridge, moonlight sparkled on the river below. The owl shivered, but Whiskers walked with purpose. On the far side stood a tall tower with a lantern at its peak, ancient but proud. Inside they climbed the stairs, higher and higher, as the feeling of darkness trying to follow them grew. But the tower kept them safe, and the light rose with them. At the top, they found an old, silent lantern. Whiskers pulled out the book. It glowed in his paws, and its pages flew into the heart of the lantern. Suddenly, it lit up. The light was so bright, the whole city saw it. The shadows cried out and vanished. People and animals everywhere smiled. Their hearts felt warm again. "We did it," hooted the owl. "We brought the light back." Whiskers looked over the city bathed in gold and felt peace. He had become part of something bigger, and though no one might know his name, he had done what he was meant to do: protect the light for everyone. From that day on, whenever lanterns lit up in the city, everyone knew they glowed not just because of fire, but because of brave hearts that never feared the dark. And Whiskers, the little cat with the big heart, still roamed the night, knowing that light will always return if you protect it. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed the story, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.